The Jacksonville Jaguars defeated the Las Vegas Raiders in Las Vegas. Thrilling game, 30-29 in overtime. The final few seconds of overtime is when the Raiders scored, and they decided to go for two. They decided to go for the win. And Pete Carroll, I respect you so much for that because I hate ties. I hate saying the record here on this show.
And
win,
won.
loss, and won. And the Raiders were at a point in their season where it's like, hey, we got to go for wins. I loved it. Even though it did not work out, I love this decision for Pete Carroll. And it feels like that's the right one to make when you're representing your team. You gave yourself a chance to go for it. It's one play, go get the win. They obviously did not, but I do like the decision to go for it there. Let's take a look at the top 5 graded players that we had for Jacksonville as the winners of this game across the country for this road game. Wide receiver Parker Washington, an 80.7. Cornerback Monteric Brown with a 78.3. Offensive tackle Cole Van Lanen with a 75.8. Offensive tackle Anton Harrison is 73.7. And then offensive tackle Walker Little a 71.9. Trevor Lawrence in this game a 73.4. On the Raiders side of things, much to Dalton's chagrin because he was facing Brock Bowers in fantasy. Mm-hmm. Brock Bowers at the top of the list with a 93.6 overall grade. Defensive tackle Adam Butler 72.3. Cornerback Eric Stokes a 70.9. Offensive guard Dylan Parham a 69.3. And then offensive guard Jackson Powers Johnson, a 67.7. Geno Smith in this game threw 4 touchdown passes, I believe. 70.1 overall grade. Dalton Seth told the story.
I just want to throw it out there for Van Lanen, too. 10 snaps filling in. He's listed as a tackle, obviously, but 10 snaps filling in for Ezra Cleveland at left guard and 18 snaps as an eligible tight end, their highest graded run blocker in this game, Jacksonville. Yeah. So obviously I've talked before about them missing Brenton Strange, so get a 6 offensive lineman out there and you run block a little bit better. I know you're going to talk about that part. I mean, this game was weird, though. This was a weird Jekyll and Hyde game where we had a 6-3 game at halftime, and then you just had an offensive explosion from both teams in the second half, especially from Jacksonville. 27 points, a 0.333 EPA per play in the second half after a negative EPA per play in the first half. They held the ball for 24 and a half minutes in the second half in overtime combined. It just felt like they just found the rhythm. I think especially on early downs with the run game, with the play action passing game. Trevor Lawrence getting over a really bad interception in the first half to find his rhythm in the second half, especially with Parker Washington there on the outside, filling in for Travis Hunter as the number 2 guy really in this offense, with Hunter being out for a while. I just think that's what you got is this Jags offense. Finally, there's been times in the last few weeks where it feels like the rhythm kind of comes and goes. I thought Liam Cohen, especially on early downs with the play calling, did a nice job of keeping him on schedule on early downs. Travis Etienne with another big day is really the engine of this offense, and Lawrence made enough throws. And tell you what, they just made one more play than the Raiders did at the end of it, right? I mean, you just had one of those games that went down to the wire and even past it, and Jacksonville found a way to pull it off.
Yeah, and unlike games in the past where we've complained about the Jags abandoning the run game, because I think that this team is at its best when it truly is balanced and they're able to continue to run the football. I think it was, what was the London game? Who did they play in the London game?
The Rams.
Yes,
yeah.
where that game got away from them very quickly, and so they totally abandoned the run game. And when you become one-dimensional, you just become so much easier to defend. And in this game, they didn't really have that scenario where there were times when they were behind on the scoreboard, right? Jacksonville, or the Raiders were up 6-0, and then they were up 6-9. Then they were up 16-13. Then they were up 23-20. Like, this was a back and forth battle here. So, but they were never really more than one possession out of it. And so you allowed yourself to stay balanced, and they absolutely did. And I think that was to their advantage. Their time of possession in this game. Did you see this, Dalton? Do you see what the time of possession was in this game?
I know the second half they just dominated it. What was it for the whole game?
Now, obviously, overtime goes into this as well, but 42 minutes, 57 seconds, almost 43 minutes they had the ball here. Now, the Raiders, it's not like, because again, overtime goes into this, so the Raiders were right at 26 minutes and 47 seconds, so that wasn't terrible for them, but the Jags were absolutely dominating how they were controlling this game, and it was because of the run game. When you would look at what they were able to do on the ground, 32 total carries in this game from their running backs, I believe. 15 first downs on the ground. That is just, that's to me, it's just always going to be a recipe for the Jags having whatever the best version of their offense is going to be that game. That's going to yield the best results, is how they were able to control the ball on the ground, stay balanced. I mean, the final stats that we had here was Travis Etienne, 22 carries, 84 yards. Bashal Tootin, 9 carries, 29 yards. Trevor Lawrence, 9 carries, 24 yards. LaQuint Allen had 1 carry for 10 yards. De'Ami Brown even got a carry for 4 yards. So they were staying diverse, and they had a heavy volume when it came to the run game. And so that's it. I don't need to say more words on it. I feel like I'm just kind of like bouncing around it now at this point. They stuck true to what their identity was. They didn't go away from it, even in a back-and-forth battle. And to me, that's why they were able to come away victorious.
To your point, they've won their 5 games with the 5 highest rushing grades of the season, and they've lost the 3 with their 3 lowest rushing grades. This run game right now with Trevor Lawrence at times still inconsistent, especially with downfield accuracy. The run game and Travis Etienne has been the key, and I think it really was a great adjustment from Liam Cohen to get Cole Van Lanen, the 6th offensive lineman, out there for a lot of snaps at tight end, right? And you look
Makes
at
sense.
3 of the 4 highest graded run blockers for the Jags in this game. And I've talked about this with this team before. It was Cole Van Lanen, 6 offensive lineman out there, extra eligible tight end. It was Johnny Munt, who's a good run blocker. And it's Hunter Long, right? And Brenton Strange was one of the highest graded run blockers in the league when he was healthy. So I think the fact that those tight ends are blocking so well and they're getting 6, 7, 8 guys up into the line of scrimmage blocking well, kind of like we talk about with the Bills and their multiple tight end sets, you have a team that allows Travis Etienne to bounce when he needs to. They're dominant between the tackles on days like this, and that balance is what Liam Cohen wants in his offense.
Most impressive for me was Brock Bowers. It has to be. He was the best player on either team. 13 targets, 12 catches, 132 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns, 92.9 receiving grade.
It was Bowers against the world, man.
It really was. It really was. And
me, against me.
And you.
Yes.
And it was Brock Bowers
Feels
against
good.
you. He was unbelievable this game. The offense is night and day different when he is out there. We've seen in the games where he's not been able to play through injury. They just don't have anyone else. They don't have anyone else that they can really lean on. And I think they were really hoping that Action Genty could be that for him in this rookie season. And I'm not saying that Genty has been bad, but the run game as a whole for Las Vegas has not been as consistent as it is needed to be, whether it was a bad Genty week or a bad offensive line week or like whatever it is. Complementary, the passing game and the run game, it has not been there for them. And so it's just such a stark difference when Brock Bowers is out there versus when he is not. And he gave them a chance to win this game, even up until the very end, that 3rd touchdown coming in overtime.
True, and to Genty's credit, he also adds to the passing game. He was their 2nd leading receiver and had a touchdown. The 1 touchdown Bowers didn't have was Genty. To me, and they may even trade away Jacoby Myers here in the next 24 hours, but to me, it's just this is a team lacking a number 1 receiver. Their number 1 receiver is Brock Bowers. And you mentioned it too with the struggles in the run game. They're just not able to have the balance and control the pace of the game. But Bowers is so good, clear top 5, if not top 3 tight end in the NFL, that these are the games he can have for you, and he can keep you in these types of football games.
Most impressive and most disappointing?
I mean, most impressive. Listen, Trev, we saw the longest regular season field goal ever. After we saw the longest preseason field goal ever from Cam Little, let's give some love to the special teamers, man. Cam Little hits all 6 of his kicks on the day and an NFL record 68-yard field goal before the end of the half. And honestly, we have the 0 to 2 scale here for at PFF with the grades. For this kick, we actually just had to break it and go ahead and give him a 2.5. I mean, honestly, a 68-yard kick, and it would have been good from further. What, 70 to 72? He had a 70 in the preseason, and this one would have been good from 70 for sure.
I think it would have been good from 72. Yeah, I do.
94.4 field goal grade. Yeah, we have that sort of thing. 94.4 field goal grade. Highest of this week, 2nd highest of the entire season. There was a day where your guy, Chase McLaughlin, for the Bucks had just
3 50-yard field goals, right? Was that it?
Was that the game against Philly? There was whatever he hit against Philly. I think he had a 60-yarder in that game as well.
Maybe.
I think it was that game that was higher. He had Little was at 94.4. I think McLaughlin was right at a 95 or something like that. So he had the second best kicking day and set an NFL record 68-yard field goal. Give some credit to the kicker here on this show.
Not bad. Most disappointing?
The linebackers. You mentioned the run game. The linebackers for the Raiders have been an issue all season. And once again, Jamal Adams was their highest graded linebacker. But the guys who play more often, Devin White and Landon Roberts, both with run defense grades under 35, really struggling to contain that run game from Jacksonville.